So where to, passenger?
Show me the world, Mike.
Do you want to go to the Levi's store?
Yes, take me
Tower
away,
Records.
Crazy Taxi. We're going on a world tour. That's
world
right.
tour.
A Crazy Taxi World Tour here at Gamescom 2026. I'm passenger princess. Mike is my Crazy Taxi driver.
You're the craziest.
Mike, how crazy is this taxi?
Pretty crazy, actually. It's enormous. I don't think I realised quite how big these old American cars are. Yeah.
This is so roomy and comfortable. I give it an 8 out of 10, this car specifically. And you've been enjoying Crazy Taxi World Tour, is that right? You've played it?
I have, yes. I've played Crazy Taxi World Tour. They've got the Germany map here in Germany, which is totally fitting. It's amazing. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer, combining that sort of Forza Horizon style open world full of driving activities with the craziness of Crazy Taxi, which is one of the first sort of open world arcade driving games that people remember. So yeah, it's a brilliant mishmash of those two things. I think what people were worried about, I guess, maybe was the idea of the longevity of the game, because arcade games typically, in the olden days, you'd put your coin in, you'd maybe get like a minute and 30's worth of driving action, and that'd be about it. So I think that there are still question marks about the sort of how much they can flesh that experience out, but fundamentally it's really fun to play, just immediately fun to pick up and play. They've modified the controls slightly from the original arcade, so in order to boost in the original arcade you have to sort of use the gear shift and shift back and forth. It's a little more simple now. There's a button for it, there's a single button for crazy drifts and things like that. So they've streamlined it, they've modernized it, but that Crazy Taxi spirit is still there, and it's a real return to kind of wacky Sega stuff, you know, like you remember the era of Monkey Ball and all the sort of Crazy Taxi mini games and things in the original Dreamcast version. It's got that vibe. My favorite of the mini games was one where you have a guy in a wingsuit in the back of the car, and you have to accelerate towards a cliff and then brake as abruptly as possible, and he gets launched out
to
the front
launch
of the car.
him.
Yeah, and then you get stars based on how much distance and stuff.
That's nice. That's just a service that Crazy Taxi provides, you know,
Yeah,
it's one of the many services.
This is the thing. I think the fundamental thing about this game is that you will not just be doing taxi deliveries. I think if it was just that, it really would have struggled, but actually you've got these sort of individual stories, people with individual objectives. You'll be delivering pizzas, you'll be helping aliens out, all sorts of stuff. And I think that variety will help make this a more fleshed out game.
And for the uninitiated,
yes,
how does the World Tour part of World Tour work? Obviously there's a number of international maps.
Yes.
And how do you progress from one to the other? How open is it?
So as I understand it, you will start and then unlock different maps as you go along, but you'll be able to revisit those. There's so much to do in each map that you will be flitting between them during the game. I think the joy of it is that it's not one big open world. Like if they were doing a sort of Forza Horizon Crazy Taxi, you could imagine that they would do a sort of expanded version of the San Francisco map. But actually I really like that they've chosen to go for separate maps, different styles.
International flavours.
Yeah, exactly. You've got that kind of like Bavarian forest sort of style in the Germany map. But then there's also a big sort of airport area where I assume you'll be doing sort of stunt challenges and things like that. So yeah, I think the international flavour is really, really fun. But this is a game that knows what you want, which is that when you rock up and pick up your first passenger, the Offspring plays extremely loud, and all of a sudden you're back in the 1999 and playing the original Crazy Taxi. So it's still got that original taxi-based gameplay as well. And at any point you can just peel off from doing the other objectives and just start delivering fares.
It sounds like a real blast from the past. Very nostalgic for you.
Yeah, I think so. And I really hope it's going to introduce Crazy Taxi to a new generation. And obviously multiplayer as well is going to be a key factor. So I think sharing that kind of experience with friends, and I'll be really interested to see what kind of multiplayer games and things that they introduce. It's been a long time since we've had a true arcade racer in this way. Forza Horizon, you could argue, is an arcade racer, but it's still grounded in reality. It's still sort of real supercars, real locations and things like that. This is unashamed arcade driving action, and I think it's all the better for it.
And there's going to be some younger folks who have never played a Crazy Taxi and maybe have never heard of the Offspring.
Exactly.
So what a treat for those guys.
Yeah. Punk's coming back, apparently.
Is it?
Well, if this game is as successful as I hope it will be, then I think Punk's going to have another little moment.
The generous folks at Sega were like, do you need us to turn the music off? And we're like, yes, there's extremely licensed music here on the show floor at Gamescom. So we appreciate that.
But as soon as this is done, the speakers are going back on and we're listening to The Offspring, and I may try and drive this out of the convention
They
center.
can't stop us.
I really hope Crazy Taxi World Tour is successful. I'm really looking forward to seeing the different stylized versions of different real-world locations.
Come on London, or come on UK.
Yeah, the UK would be brilliant.
Let's see it.
It would be so good.
Yeah.
And obviously San Francisco Francisco will be in there because that's the sort of classic inspiration from the original Crazy Taxi arcade games. So yeah, one for sort of fans of old school arcade action, which I feel has been sorely underrepresented in gaming recently. And yeah, super excited for
There's
more.
nothing quite like it here at the show. I think it stands alone.
Yeah,
For real.
I mean, it's loud, it's brash. You know, in a world of gritty first-person shooters and high fantasy elves running around and stuff, a bright yellow taxi really does stand out on the show floor. So will you be playing as a sort of not someone who plays racing games very frequently? Do you think this might scratch the itch?
Absolutely. Like, I think it's like you say, an arcade racer, but also not a racer per se, not in the sort of like conventional sense.
Yeah.
I love an open world. I love a bit of like international flavour.
Yeah.
How does it? I mean, we haven't talked about the feel, but I suppose it replicates the original kind of arcadey feel.
Yeah, as I said, the sort of controls are slightly different. And there's also a new nitro as well. So by doing the kind of like crazy dashes and crazy drifts, you're kind of building up another meter. And then you just hit the Y button, you've got this nitro. So there are actually, you know, some events where you're racing against another car, and they are actually sort of speed timed events. But it's not really, like you say, it's not really a racing game per se. But yeah, I think they've refined the controls, they've modified it, they've modernized them. As someone who has a lot of muscle memory for the original game on Dreamcast and in the arcades, it did not take me long to adapt, and the sort of fundamentals are there. Do you know what I mean? They're big lazy drifts and dashing around, the car's very agile, you know, boosting around the place. That all felt like you know, a successor to the original game without feeling like slavishly replicating the original handling, which I don't think you need to do. I mean, the game is nearly 30 years old, which is great. Yeah, I think the original was 1999.
Oh wow!
So yeah, this is a you know, a real return for this franchise after a long way away, and you know, there were a few sequels to the original and then mobile games that didn't really do the game justice, I think it's fair to say. So I really feel like this is a labor of love and a return to Sega's, you know, crazy arcade sensibility, which is something I'm personally extremely fond of.
All right, I think it's time for us to get the heck out of here.
All right.
Crazy taxi driver Mike.
Yep.
Take us away.
Time to make some crazy money.